Pavel's favorite memory in Hearthstone was winning the World Championship?
I know, it's hard to believe.
No way. Welcome back to the America's Grandmasters. My name is Falcone, this is Language Hacker, and we have 2 series left for you today. Coming up next is going to be Monsanto versus Purple. Monsanto, who's currently sitting as king of America's region, actually, well, alongside Eddie and Frozen, I guess. He is 7-1, the top of Division B. As you can see right there, he is the only player in Americas with only 1 loss. We're going to see if that changes today when he's up against Purple, who's sitting at 4-4, right at the top, just below the cutoffs for playoffs. So he definitely wants to be winning this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when players are this close, like we're saying, like we've said earlier on, these are the weeks where people need to start either punching straight ahead of the other middle of the pack, or at least struggling to stay in the middle so that you still have the chance to get to that top 3 spot in the playoffs.
Should we take a look at Monsanto's deck list to see what is coming up in this game? It's going to be a Rogue Mirror one more time, just like before, but a little bit differently this time, because Monsanto, unlike everyone else, he's actually bringing the Pogo Hopper variant of Rogue.
We saw someone else bring it yesterday. I believe it was Frozen.
That's right.
And he faced up against Firebat, so it's interesting to see a second player bring it as well.
And he won. Frozen won with it.
Yeah, he did, yeah. And again, also in a Rogue Mirror, so it's going to be curious to see if Monsanto can do that again over Purple.
Yeah, Frozen Firebat, for anyone that wasn't watching yesterday, it was a Rogue Mirror. Frozen had the Pogo Hopper. Firebat just had Burgle. I think it was Burgle Rogue. Yeah. And Frozen was able to take that one home. But let's take a look at Purple's deck list to see how that differs. It's also going to be the Burgle Rogue, as we can see, Hinchland Burgle, Leveling Fox, Vendetta, etc., etc.
Interesting to note, 2 Fairy Dragons in the main list. So Purple perhaps thinking he would either face some Rogues or Mages.
We've seen a lot of that this week, actually.
Yeah, Fairy Dragon's been very popular among the Rogue list. Maybe not a 2 of, and maybe not on the primary list, but quite a few people have been running them.
Yep, and we discussed it very briefly in the last series, and we said that it helps a little bit in the mirror. It was actually Nalkudan who had it in his list. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to really take advantage too much, but let's take a look at game number 1 here, as Monsanto has Evil Miscreant and Myra's Unstable Element in his opening hand. Now, Myra's with Pogo Hopper interact in a very unique way, in that you can hold the Pogo Hopper, hold the Lab Recruiter, play Myra's, and then go Pogo Hopper Lab Recruiter, which means that your deck just consists of Pogo Hoppers. Is that something that Monsanto is going to want to do in this matchup?
If his hand allows him to, yes. And I don't think Myra's might be something you keep right off the bat. If you had a couple Pogos in hand, or like Pogo Lab Recruiter, Myra's Unstable, maybe you could keep it. Again, I haven't played Pogo Rogue too much, so I'm not super familiar, but I'm sure Monsanto Frozen have practiced this quite a bit. But again, you want to fight for board, you want to do rogue things, which is why we see Monsanto keep Miscreant and not try to go all in for that sort of Myra's game plan very early. It's good to do later on if you know the game allows for it, but it's not always the case where you can afford to just Myra's for 5 mana and then start shuffling stuff in, especially in a board-centric matchup where both players are trying to kind of kill each other.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Now, Purple does have Fairy Dragon available to him at this turn if he wants to. And yeah, he's going to coin that out straight away. That's particularly good in this matchup because Monsanto doesn't run SI7 Agent. The only ways that he can clear this are minions on the board, obviously. Dagger and Fan of Knives can deal 1 damage as well, but that's not very efficient at all. And this Fairy Dragon is almost guaranteed to deal a lot of damage.
Yeah. And Purple coining it out means that Purple can just Dagger on turn 2. If Monsanto develops a Novice or Dagger, well, the Novice itself can be answered by the Dagger, but the Dagger from Monsanto punching the Fairy Dragon, I think Purple's fine if Monsanto chooses to take 9 damage to deal with the Fairy Dragon. 9 damage and 2 mana. And Monsanto kind of recognizing that I don't really want to punch this over 2 turns, let me try to finding some of the cards. And the fact that Purple coined this out and doesn't have a follow-up means that the Dagger can deal with a Novice and the Fairy Dragon can keep on trucking.
What do you think he was waiting for there? Trying to give Purple the impression that he has more stuff he could play?
Could be a Shadow Step that he's...
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay.
Could also just be taking us down, I think. It's hard to tell. It'd be funny if the players could see each other's cameras when they're playing, because then you could get some stuff looking over.
That would simulate the real-life experience a little bit more, I guess, wouldn't it? But preparation picked up is really nice. It allows Monsanto to both draw a card and also get the Evil Miscreant out with the combo.
Shipping first in case he picks something up like an Edwin and decides to play that.
have a Witchwood Piper in their hand as well. It's 2 guaranteed Pogo Hoppers.
Purple has his own miscreant but can't activate it. There's an SI7 agent he could play out just for tempo. Has to consider whether or not he wants to kill off this miscreant. He probably does. Witchilaki can be threatening. Shadow Step can be annoying.
Yep.
And Monsanto currently doesn't have a dagger equipped.
Yeah,
so it's really difficult to deal with Fairy Dragon.
We're seeing the downside now of Purple using the coin very early, although the upside is he has dealt 3 damage to Monsanto.
And he's out on board too, yeah.
The Fairy Dragon's still there, and yeah, exactly, the SI7 agent's there now as well. The only way Monsanto deals with the Fairy Dragon this turn is, as you said, equipping the dagger, which is very slow, considering Monsanto wants to be playing things like Snip Snap, like Witchwood Piper,
So
you know?
many
Yeah,
options.
Monsanto's kind of in an awkward spot where he's drawn a few of those, I don't want to necessarily say tech cards, but let me say non-rogue cards.
Okay.
We have Witchwood Piper and Harrison in Monsanto's hand right now, and they can be played, but they don't. And sure, they tutor the Pogo Hoppers to your hand, but playing a 4-mana 3/3 is not that powerful for tempo. Purple just played a 3-mana 3/3, so if Monsanto spends 1 more mana to develop the same thing while already being behind on board, it's just not good enough. So Monsanto's deciding to hold off on the Witchwood Piper, see what's in the box with the Ethereal Lackey, and try to go from there. Maybe play a Snip Snap as follow-up.
Oh, an extra Vanish could be helpful later on, but for now, it's quite awkward.
So in this play, Monsanto decided to evolve the Ethereal Lackey, help fight for board a little bit, which means that he doesn't want to save the Witchwood Piper next turn. Instead, he likely wants to go Witchwood Piper, Pogo Hopper, or if something else comes from his deck, then maybe he wants to go like Shiv or plus X or Snip Snap plus Y.
Now, Spirit of the Shark is very interesting, because it would cause Purple to lose the board, but it would also set up Evil Miscreant next turn with the Betrayal to combo it.
Yep. The
Waggle Pick also very tempting.
One of the problems I found with playing Spirit of the Shark on 4 into exactly 2-mana card Miscreant is that you get the extra 2 lackeys, but that's kind of it. If there was something like a Backstab or I don't know, Shadow Step wouldn't actually work, but if there was a Backstab, maybe we'd see Purple play for the Spirit of the Shark, because then he can go Backstab, Miscreant, and then get the extra value from the lackeys. Whereas playing Betrayal Miscreant still activates the Miscreant, gets you the extra lackeys, but it doesn't do quite enough off the Spirit of the Shark, which is why we see him opt for the Left Trinker. As we talked about last turn, Monsanto played the Witchwood Piper, started the Bounce Train, killing off the Life Trinker. That's a little more annoying if it gets bounced, because it heals Purple as well. Granted, Purple's at full health anyways, but now decides if he wants to punch that or use the Witchilaki. I think at 18 health, it's kind of scary to go low, but you need board as well, so there is merit to punching this instead of trading off the Witchilaki. Looking over the rest of his cards, thinking, okay, how do I, like, what am I gonna do? He could potentially vanish next turn if he face tanks this and has more Battlecry minions to use, but ultimately decides to trade off the Witchilaki to save health, which I think is fine. So Purple does now have the Backstab.
Yeah, Purple has the tools to just start face rolling, I guess, at this point, if he wants to. He can just go face for 7 this turn, puts Monsanto down to 11 with the Waggle Pick still equipped. I mean, I mentioned the Mario's Unstable Element combo earlier on, but Monsanto, even if he had the Lab Recruiter in his hand this game, he'll be at 11 health. He'll just die before he actually gets to win with the Pogo Hopper, unless he had a Zillion.
Yeah, that's why we see people throwing away Myras in their opening hand and stuff like that. It's a great card. It gives you ways that to win that you otherwise couldn't have, but it's better to have other cards that don't put you in that position where you need to play the Myras to win the game.
Right.
Tempo's the name of the game.
Choose soon.
Purple deciding if he wants to go for the aggressive route with the Waggle Pick. He could just play Spirit of the Shark set for next turn, and I do like this. Deciding to use the Backstab so that can't be Barista'd or Lab Recruited or bounced. Not trading here. I like that. Be aggressive, push face. He used the Backstab now. I was talking about having to use the Backstab with a Miscreant, but now on 6 mana, Purple still can go Betrayal, Miscreant, and then still get a bit of extra value off the Lackey. And there's still cards in his deck that he can draw that'll let him do the same thing. He's running another Fairy Dragon, 2 Eviscerates, Cable Rat, another Backstab. But I think his game plan is going to be Betrayal, Miscreant. Which means that leaving the Witchwood Piper up is beneficial because it means there'll be more things on the board, so pushing the face damage is just better. We see Monsanto did pick up a Barista.
Not going to do all that much, though. There's already a Witch
Yeah.
Piper in the hand. If the Pogo Hopper had survived, then sure, that would be another Pogo Hopper this turn. But Monsanto needs to work out how he can make a defensive play. Is the Vanish worth considering this turn?
It's kind of yucky. It's really yucky. I mean, Purple
really
can just
kinda
replay the Shark at that point. I think Monsanto needs to find some proactive game plan. The Rogue's reactive game plan doesn't work that well when the Rogue has 15 health, because even playing reactively and defensively, chip damage does start to add up. I like this. Draw the other Pogo Hopper, Shiv after, kill off the SI7 agent. This can set Monsanto up for a Pogo Hopper Vanish, if he so chooses. There's the Betrayal. Doesn't do anything, but it does activate this screen, which is why it's being used here. Kobold Lackey's good, Rush Lackey's good. Okay. Just because it lets Purple deal with the board if he wants to deal with the Witch Piper. But I imagine he does because it protects the Spirit of the Shark. He could opt for if you're Lackey instead, but...
Goes for the board clear instead, just taking complete control of this. It puts Monsanto in a very awkward position here, again, only on 15 health. Purple still has that waggle pick. When he wants to pull the trigger, he can start going face very aggressively. And the Ethereal Lackey, especially if the Spirit of the Shark survives, is likely to get Purple some more damage.
So with this Shadow Step pickup, Monsanto could go Pogo Hopper, Step, Pogo Hopper, Barista, Pogo Hopper, which leaves a 4-5, I believe a 5-5 and a 7-7 on board, which is the most tempo he's probably ever going to be able to put on the board now.
But does he just die if he does that? That's the question.
Exactly. He has to consider, do I have to go all in now on tempo and then just try to close out the game, or can I fight longer and try to go for a bouncier game plan? And with his hand, I don't think he has another option. Vanishing this is just awful because you give your opponent more resources and more resource generation.
Something I'd like to point out, though, is that, okay, assuming Monsanto survives this turn, next turn Monsanto could go Preparation, Myra's Unstable Element to dig for Ziliax.
Yep, that could definitely be a thing.
And then he would have exactly 5 mana remaining to play the Ziliax, which would almost be a full heal at this point.
I want to see the step here. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now Purple has to decide if it's even possible. Oh, is he leaving the Pogo Hopper in the hand? Oh no, this makes sense. This makes sense. To the play you stated, Monsanto can go Pogo Hopper, prep Myra's, then find the Ziliax to heal out of range.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I was thinking he should. Perhaps he plays it just to have the 7-7 on board.
Well, I mean, I was kind of with you there as well, because it's very unlikely that Purple will clear both.
It is possible, and then if the Purple does clear both, I think Monsanto gets locked out of the game. So he's thinking that this game plan is probably his best chance at winning.
Okay.
And with a Hench Clan Burglar from Purple, the Pogos would have almost, not guaranteed, but would have likely died.
I mean, Fork Lightning plus double Vendetta, I think that would have done it.
Double Vendetta here. No, it wouldn't have been guaranteed. Actually, it would have been pretty close. 4, 5, 6, 7. He'd have to have discovered some stuff. Yeah, I think with the backstab and the Fork Lightning, he would have been able to clear both of them.
Yeah. Either way, Purple has a dominating position on the board, and it looks like the only way that Monsanto gets back into this is finding that Ziliax.
It's kind of scary.
I can Vanish, actually. Vanishing buys him a little bit of time.
There's also Destroy Toki, the Time Ticker.
Pogo Hopper, Prep, Vanish, Edwin. It's okay. None of this stuff, apart from the Ethereal Lackey, and I guess the Henchland Burglar, maybe, can deal damage from the hand. So,
So, okay. Monsanto knows that there's no random rogue spells in Purple's hand, but he knows that there are 2 discovered rogue spells. Actually, no, there is 1 random rogue spell. Random. I say discovered, sorry.
A discovered random spell.
Yeah.
2 discovered random spells.
Two discovered spells from other classes and 1 discovered spell from rogue.
So he should be pretty safe after a Vanish for now.
True, and these minions can allow Purple to, for example, with the Ethereal Lackey, discover another answer, or with a Burglar to discover another answer, but it's not guaranteed. So Monsanto could choose to go for the super board-centric game plan.
Yep, looks like we're going there.
Could still be Myra's. Okay, he is going for the Vanish. So the Edwin pickup, this does seem like a powerful play because you get the Pogo Hopper down for 9. and an 8/8 Edwin, and he can still go for Myers next turn, although it won't let him play Ziliax along with the Myers.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But this gives him some sort of proactive game plan instead of playing on the back foot.
He now has 19 damage. Togwaggle got milled, which probably isn't the end of the world for purple, actually.
I think it would have been too slow.
He's not winning through the value of Togwaggle. So with the Ethereal Lackey picks up.
Okay.
Assassinate is a good start.
It's actually interesting.
Gets rid of the Pogo Hopper and gets rid of any
He
chance
could pick
of
up the
killing it.
Assassinate and not even play it this turn. He could vanish.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Now he's not going to want to vanish.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, purple's like,
Now he can't really do anything.
Low Rocket Troll, I love you, but now's not the time. Yeah, he's laughing
All
at
right,
that
good.
one. He's
Good-
like, okay.
Good to see that purple can see the fun in this situation.
But, and this wants me to highlight something else. We see players take a lot of time thinking about stuff and then getting to the rope and making their decisions. If this had been in the rope, this would have been a lot more difficult to figure out. But purple identified what he wanted to do quickly, went for the discover, identified which one was the best one. He picked that one, made another random play, and now is able to play around or at least consider what he can do with the lower.
And I like the Assassinate on the Pogo Hopper here rather than the Edwin. Yes, It's got lower stats, but goodbye Ziliax, goodbye Pogo Hopper for the rest of the game.
Exactly.
No more of this.
She's so funny.
Gives Monsanto a
Okay.
image. Wow, this game has been stepped up to 11. That's a shadow step. That would have
Stepped.
been great with the Pogo Hopper.
Good one. Did you see the draw?
Huh?
It's a step.
Oh,
He
boy.
said stepped.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like I'm casting with Lorinda again, honestly. Like, in 3 years of that, I'm dead inside.
Okay. Monsanto can play 3 Snip Snaps. Problem is he's not 12 health.
Yeah, that is a problem.
And what's funny about the mirror images is that it gives purple mirror images as well.
Back and forth. The spells are going.
I wonder.
No, same with Shadow Step. If you were to cast that.
Yeah, this is... What's funny is the Stormbringer
Oh.
on the purple side.
Myers. Okay, well, Myers isn't that good for purple right now, so it makes sense for
Right.
Monsanto to cast that.
Okay. So Monsanto can find Lab Recruiters to cycle more stuff in if he wants to stop fatigue. He can just play up the Miscreant, but I think Lab Recruiter on the Edwin is nice.
I'm out of cards.
As we can see, for now, Monsanto seems to still be alive. That's the name of the game. Plank does just deal with Edwin. Nice little tech for purple there. Not something we see very often at all in these rogue decks, in the primary at least.
I think we might see a Stormbringer come out here. Maybe not, though. It does give Monsanto a Stormbringer as well. No, the Stormbringer doesn't come out there because Monsanto's hand is full now. So I like this a lot for purple.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Monsanto smiling at that as well.
Leroy!
Okay. These are pretty lackluster other than the Leroy, but it's a board full of stuff.
I don't know, Language Hacker. Purple Secrets are going to trigger twice now.
There is a Henchland Burglar in hand. He could find some. I mean,
Lackluster? Yes. Enough to win the game?
yes.
Probably yes. Backstab the Leroy.
Monsanto can find a Vanish off of the Miscreant if he gets an Ethereal Lackey. He can go backstab Miscreant, Ethereal Lackey, Vanish, which might honestly be the play.
What a mess.
He can also step the Lackey if he finds it. Okay.
Oh! Okay, and he gets one attempt, really. Oh, no, because
He
he
gets
Shadow Step.
twos. Yeah. Probably not going to be these 3. Takes a Sinister Strike for burst, and it's cheap.
So the correct play, following your line, is Shadow Step the Ethereal Lackey. Yep.
Well, everywhere it's lethal every other way. So
For a second attempt at the... If this gets preparation, at least he gets a third attempt, I guess. No. Double Founder Knives, now an option. And
that
all
it
he's
doesn't
got-
clear enough, right?
Don't.
It clears a lot, actually.
It does clear a lot. Worth noting now, Monsanto out of cards again.
Okay, this does keep him alive.
The problem now for Monsanto is that he's out of cards in his hand. He's out of ways, sorry, in his deck. He's out of ways to put more cards in his deck unless he gets a Togwaggle Scheme from the second Ethereal Lackey, but
even then it would only...
very slow.
Yeah, and purple's at 30 health, right?
Yeah, so, and purple has Vanish as well. So if Monsanto develops big Edwins, purple can just get rid of them temporarily. And so he can probably survive for just about long enough to deal the damage he needs to deal in order to win this. I mean, it's just, yeah, now, Vanish.
I like this a lot. It destroys all the minions from Monsanto's side. It also means that Ziliax can't be used to heal.
That looks like checkmate to me. But
Excellent play
Monsanto
for purple.
can use Mirror Image to protect himself, but in 2 turns, he's just dead.
That's it, right?
Purple's enjoyed this game, I feel.
I think he did. As soon as Lore Control popped up, he was, ooh, sprint. It's lethal.
All right, maybe Monsanto could develop 2 huge Edwins.
Actually, I didn't even, I forgot about the mirror images. There's no way to
there's
clear both of them. Walk the Plank can deal with 1, but...
Yeah, there's no way past the second at the moment.
Oh, the Tinkmaster over Spark. And he can step it as well. No, I'm serious. This 2 and 3, well, I mean... Currently, it's a 2 and 3. But
well, he's going to play the
Edwins.
Edwins. But then again, if it hits an Edwin, then it's still going to make it a weaker card. All right. Here we go. Oh,
okay, that'll do it.
Yeah, Life Drinker is just lethal. Oh, that's disappointing. Life Drinker puts Monsanto to 1, and then the 2 fatigue damage will finish the job. Or Shadow Step, or, you know, like...
No. Purple's going for the Tinkmaster play. He wants the Tinkmaster, get rid of a mirror image, walk the plank the other one, and this is the line. And now he's going to walk the plank, of course.
No, he's going to try and hit the other one with Tink.
Okay.
Ah, boo. Well, Purple gets there one way or another. He's going to take the first win of this series. Monsanto sees the fun in it as well. Like, Purple really enjoyed that game. We had Lore Walker Chose, we had the Stormbringer, we had a little bit of Tinkmaster to end.
That was, yeah, the Tinkmaster generated from Stormbringer and bounced back with a Vanish. Like I said, a lot of Hearthstone games are kind of, can be played on autopilot, where you just say, okay, I know how this matchup goes. I'm going to look for card draw. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to try to do that. And then you have these wacky games where you get these crazy cards, like Lore Walker Cho and the board full of legendaries from Stormbringer, and you really start to see some nuances that can really give some players an edge. Obviously, in that match, it didn't matter too much near the end because the Tinkmaster wasn't needed. But Purple recognizing that there was a way he could have gotten past those mirror images if he had not drawn the Life Drinker. All
right, let's talk about decks. Purple is sticking with his primary deck. Of course, he just won the game. He's feeling quite comfortable. But Monsanto is switching to his tertiary deck, which means Eviscerates, Saps, SI7 Agent, and Bronze Gatekeeper. Tell me about that.
I've talked about this, and Galen laughed at me. He said, why would you run a 3-mana 1/5?
It's happening.
Well, Monsanto has it. Well, Ziliax is the defensive option with the Pogo list because you can A, heal with it, and B, it does give the Pogo Hoppers taunt. Bronze Gatekeeper gives half of that. Gives taunt, gives a big body as well because of the 5 health. Yep. Ziliax only adds 2. But it's one extra way to hide behind a Pogo Hopper and try not to die.
What I will say is that there's a lot of removal in Purple's deck. We're talking about... actually, there's 1 copy of Sap, and there's the 1 copy of Walk the Plank, and there's the double Vendetta. So, you know, there are going to be ways past the Pogo Hopper and the Bronze Gatekeeper. Sorry, mine went blank then. Combo.
I wonder if Monsanto keeps Pogo Hopper by itself. When we talked to Frozen, he said there's some hands you do keep it when you have like Pogo Labrecruiter, Pogo Step, or like some crazy hands like that. But I wonder if Monsanto on the play wants to keep just Pogo Hopper. My instinct is no. You'd probably want to keep a 2 or 3 card hand, especially going first when you don't have that many card options.
Wow,
gonna keep the preparation
for
as
Myra's?
well.
Is he gonna try and? I don't know. Interesting.
Oh, he keeps it so he can potentially activate Miscreant if he does draw it.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
I mean, it obviously works with stuff like Shiv and other stuff, but it's a way to activate Miscreant when you're going first.
Seems like you'd rather just hard model for Miscreant if you're going to plan for that. But like you said, it has other uses as well. Purple this time going to get rid of the Pogo Hopper immediately. You're not going to.
Yeah, he's not having any of that.
I'm going to give Monsanto any time to step that. Now
Which is actually interesting because from Monsanto's perspective, there's no way to bounce that Pogo Hopper. So does he think it's worth playing it just for a 1-1 right now? Or was he playing that to bait Purple to coin out the dagger? Because now with the coin dagger play, Purple otherwise would have likely gone something similar to last game, maybe Coin Fairy Dragon. So this kind of stops development.
Yeah, that makes sense actually when you look at it that way.
I don't know if he did that or for that reason.
Well, it makes sense. If Purple had just played the Fairy Dragon, it would have been dealt with. So it did slow him down considerably. However, now the Fairy Dragon comes down and Monsanto cannot do anything about it. Once again, Eviscerate does not work on Fairy Dragon. So just drop Thalnos, hope that you can... No.
Yeah, Cycle is fine, I think. This gives Monsanto a way to draw Miscreant or Edwin.
Yep.
And I think he's not in a great spot right now in terms of what he can develop. So I think taking this risk is okay, but I still kind of question the prep keep. I can kind of see some of his reasoning for it, but was it better than just full mulling, like you said, for the Miscreant?
And now we've seen this board before. I'm getting a serious case of deja vu.
Yeah. Miscreant was one card off.
That's unfortunate.
That's okay.
Monsanto going to draw the second Pogo Hopper right now, though.
What if there was a Shadow Step Lackey? That would be broken.
That would be broken.
Don't tell the design team.
Let's make some more lackeys.
No, please.
1 mana, 1/1.
Wrath, Desperate Measures, Starfall.
Ooh.
These are actually interesting because all of these can be used, right? Starfall can be used for AoE and to clear up one big minion. Wrath can be used to draw and clear a minion for a cheap amount of mana. And Desperate Measures can just cause havoc for your opponent or just develop an eye for an eye.
Goes for Wrath, which I guess is the more sensible option. It's the, you have a 3/3, I would like to clear it, please, option. As, wow. Headland Burglar getting sapped.
To activate the Miscreant is the...
Makes sense. He doesn't want to use up the Pogo Hopper, it's important.
Yeah.
Well, is it important? Yeah, I guess so, because then he really does have a 3-mana 1/5.
Well, his game plan right now does not really let him play out the Pogo for a tempo and then win from there. So I think he does have to hold on to the Pogo Hopper.
Double Ethereal Lackey. Hey, that is your Shadow Step Lackey.
Yeah, you're right. Except it's a 1 mana. I know, it is 1 mana Shadow Step, yeah, you're right. So Monsanto could find something like Scheme Myras. The problem is he's at 18. So even with that, it takes a bit of a setup. Oh, okay. Wow, these are some options.
Bloodlust is really interesting.
Yeah. Bloodlust can just close out the game with a few minions on board. It's something Monsanto probably won't play around.
That would be a frustrating way.
I mean, how many times are you in this Rogue Mirror and you're thinking, he just got a Hench Clan Burglar. It's probably Bloodlust. Let me play around it. Not very often.
No, Savage Roar, on the other hand, I play around all the time.
Oh, they always have it, yeah. Sometimes they have 2. Oh, I'm having flashbacks. Oh. Nothing. Okay, Sprint isn't... I mean, okay, Sprint, I want to say it's not terrible. It's not, but it's terrible.
It's quite terrible. It's not as terrible as Necrean Vial.
In this situation, in this matchup, because Monsanto's so behind on tempo.
Yeah, and he's already used one of the preparations. There is a second preparation. I guess if he had the second one, it wouldn't be quite so bad, but it seems quite bad. Sap is okay. It buys Monsanto a little bit more time.
Well, let's put it this way. The other cards...
Wow.
Okay.
All right, Monsanto believes
I suppose
in more stuff.
There's not a lot of sap targets left, so perhaps Monsanto's thinking, I am literally never using the sap. Maybe I use the Sprint.
Okay.
All right, there we go. That's I believe it's going to be the scheme here.
Togwaggle
Which means that the Pogo Hopper can now be played, even just to cycle 1 extra Hopper in the deck.
Okay. It makes the Pogo Hopper playable. That's
exactly.
He doesn't want to use up the last one, but now there's another one bouncing around in the deck somewhere. And there's a Sprint to maybe draw into it. Purple doesn't have any lackeys available to him right now, so that Togwaggle is going to take a little bit of setting up, but it just requires playing the Miscreant this turn and then playing Tog next turn.
Yep, I like this. Wrath to clean up the bunny. Miscreant to get some lackeys. That lackey just jumped out of the hand. All right, clean up the board.
Wants his double pay.
Yeah. Monsanto's not running Ice Bear and Togwaggle, but cleaning up the board is nice to prevent vanishes or bouncers or stuff like that. Even Labracuda on an Ethereal Lackey might be interesting too, or Barista.
Now, can Monsanto afford to play the sprint here, or does he need to get rid of that Lackey?
I mean, there's another Lackey in hand anyways.
That's true.
So
It
I
doesn't
think
matter.
this is a sprint turn. Nothing else. He can develop the Barista and try to fight for board like that. Go Barista Dagger, but I think the way he wins is finding Pogo Hopper with Labracuda and maybe a Zilliax for good measure. Okay. Purple is running Eviscerates in his deck, so there is more burst than the average Burgle Rogue deck we've seen so far. Purples are also running Henge Clan Thugs, which we hadn't seen any of.
Well, I think it's Togwaggle time. With Monsanto on 18 health, the Wondrous Wand will... well, it's something Monsanto needs to now start thinking about, but realistically, Bloodlust might just be lethal this turn.
Yeah, I don't think Monsanto's going to play around that.
It's a pretty reasonable Fan and Knives SI7 agent turn, though.
Yeah, you can Abyss as well there. Cleans up a lot. Leaves just an Arcane Servant or a Miscreant on the board. Probably want to leave the Servant up just so the Miscreant can't be bounced or evolved.
Playing around the Bloodlust.
If Monsanto wins this, I'm going to ask him if he wanted to play on Bloodlust here. If he... Okay. This means nothing. Actually, it doesn't mean nothing. Now Monsanto could go prep sap the Heist Baron.
Oof.
Hear me out. Eviscerate the Miscreant and then play Nedwin.
So
The problem is that, like you said earlier on, Purple is main decking Walk the Plank and Sap.
So you'd rather sap the High Sparrow than the Miscreant?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Togwaggle's a little slow, and there are no lackeys left in Purple's hand currently. I don't know if that's quite what Monsanto's going to go for, but I think with a prep pickup, you want to make use of the... Okay.
Oh, wow. Going to go the other way around.
This is fine as well. This gives him a way to clear... yeah, with Goblin Lackey or with the Kobold Lackey. You can step it as well.
Oh, he might run out of time here to do what he wants
I
to do.
don't think he wants to step it.
He's just a 2-3.
Arena Fanatic is... technically has more power and contest the Arcane Servant, but not necessarily what Monsanto was looking for.
Okay, this wand could be pretty big. And Leroy Jenkins picked up with Bloodlust.
That's 1 damage off
With
right now.
Shadow Step, it's just lethal, right? No, it's
Oh yeah, I was saying with the Bloodlust.
Shadow Step and Eviscerate.
Yeah.
This is lethal.
But
Purple has
he's
it.
trying to find a way to go Leroy Bloodlust. See, he's mousing over it. He's like, there's got to be a way to do this.
Don't think there is, Purple.
I know. He's looking for it. I know he sees the lethal, but he's thinking, I got to be able to play this Bloodlust. There's got to be some way. In about like 15 seconds, I think he's going to shake his head and play the Leroy step. And Monsanto's going to look at us like, why is he thinking about this? All right, yeah. I mean, I'd be sad too.
That's a sad Purple. Monsanto going to give it up. Purple takes the series with a 2-0 win. This is how we would expect a series like this to go, with the Pogo Hopper Rogue falling short with a more aggressive Burgle version of Rogue. Purple took it down very nicely and had a lot of fun with that one as well. I'm quite looking forward to this interview.
Yeah, it definitely was a bit of a wacky set, for sure.
We had Lorca Chose, with
Tinkmaster
Stormbringers, Tinkmaster Oversparks, and a little setup for a Bloodlust Lethal, which wasn't quite meant to be.
Eviscerate.
A moment of silence
Yeah.
for the Bloodlust Lethal. Let's have a chat with Purple and see what he has to say about that. Congratulations, Purple. That was a pretty interesting series. You seem to enjoy yourself there.
Oh, whenever a Lorewalker Cho gets into the game, I get a little excited. And then we got some nice Stormbringer action, and I was really trying to kill him with Bloodlust. I was so focused in on this Bloodlust that I got confused. I was like, wait a minute. When I stream and I play ladder, Leroy never makes my deck. You know, that card's Barista on ladder for the shenanigans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
So I'm really, really bad at spotting them easy Leroy lethals.
Oh, so it was actually a case that you hadn't seen the lethal. We just thought you were trying to just meme and win with the Bloodlust.
Yeah, we thought you were trying to weave it in and say, I know I have lethal guys, give me a second. I'm trying to find a way to, like, get this Bloodlust down.
No. I would never slow roll Monsanto, except trying to kill him with the Tinkmaster.
Except game one. To be fair, the Tinkmaster was pretty sweet. I was really excited to see you do that.
I was hoping he was going to go 2 for 2 for the Waggle pick. Playful, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's pretty brilliant, Purple. All right, slightly more serious question now. You're now 5-5 in America's
I'm
Geo.
5-4. Your question's wrong.
Oh, you're 5-4. My question, my notes are wrong. Do you know what? Never
Next
mind.
question.
You can ask me a
Next
question
question.
instead. Apparently, that's the thing that we do here. I've seen.
Is that a pajama suit?
Sure, why not? Why not? I'm just
Yeah.
trying to channel my
right.
inner throwdown, and it's just not working out.
If I were to purchase such suit, where should I go?
The UK, actually. It's
Okay,
quite a
okay.
long trip, but I'm sure you've flown further.
Next time we meet up at an event, can you get me one? I'm about a medium.
Deal. All right.
Is that how they do suits? Medium?
Yeah, I'll hook you up. That's fine. I'll bring you a medium pajama suit. Perfect. All right. Thank you very much, Purple.
Right.
I think we've used up enough of your time. Congratulations one more time. We'll see you again later.
Have a great cast.
Well, that didn't go quite how I expected it to go.
I was ready to hop in, but I was kind of letting you finish that up with the questions.
There you go. We have one series left today. It's going to be ETC up against Raze. That's a good one to look forward to again. Two players that have a shot making it to playoffs, but could be falling short very soon. We'll be seeing that one after this.